Hey, thanks for joining us today. We're really excited to share with you the first look at Florida's 2023 tax lien auction season. It starts in May, ends in June every year, and every county will sell tax liens through the auction format during basically May 15th through June 1st. This last week, we saw some of the lists get released from about maybe more than half the counties in Florida. So we want to take a look at those. There are hundreds of thousands of properties already listed for auction, and many counties are still releasing their lists in the coming days. So you'll see more of this added. We're going to look across these auctions using Parcel Fair, of course, and we're going to start using our auction calendar. But what I want to show you is we've made some changes recently. Right now, if you take a look and see, if you looked at all the auctions in Florida, you'll notice that there's a lot. There's over 1,000 auctions easily that we've tracked so far this year. So for the purposes of what we're looking at, we want to use this filter box and look at just the tax lien auctions because we're just focused on that in today's video. So now we have a much more manageable calendar to look at with just 25 of these in May that we have so far. And then when we move down to June, another 34 that we're looking at this point. So not all of these have lists released yet, but the ones that have, it's pretty interesting. We have small auctions on the scale of like a Hendry, which is the first auction, which is 55 parcels. And then mid-sized counties like St. Lucie with 7,000. And then you have some of these counties like Lien and Pasco and Broward where you're looking at 20 to 30,000 parcels that are in the auction listing so far. Remember, these are tax liens that they're selling on the parcels, not the parcel themselves. So literally 20 to 30,000 tax liens going to auction for some of these counties. Of course, now we see Glades is the other end of the spectrum, as well as Franklin. But Hillsborough, 23,000 tax liens. Palm Beach is famous, 18,000. When you see some of these counties with no parcels available, it just means that the lists are not available yet. And then we move into June 1st, the last day of the auction, and a slew of auctions that day. Some of these very large, including Polk at 21,000, Highlands at 14,000. So when you add it together, you have hundreds of thousands of liens and parcels to look at, as well as many counties that are all holding auctions on different websites. So each website has different registration, different rules, different dates. And so we want to show you across all of these auctions how to look at these parcels in one place. So why not start with the biggest county so far? We're looking at Broward County, and it's the biggest by parcel count. You'll notice everything on the western half of the county is wildlife preserve, reservation, and essentially not properties that have liens available. So moving to the east side where we have the coastline, Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach, Hollywood, Florida, this whole area, it's very dense with available liens. You can see everything available here from on satellite view, we can see rooftops inside of neighborhoods. And just for variety's sake, you also have developments without any properties at all, where they're just breaking ground and construction like these. And we can see it's just 0.15 acre. And, it's basically up and coming. So you have the chance to buy liens on properties that are not developed yet. If we move closer to the coast, you'll see it gets really dense. Not only do you have neighborhoods with many liens available on these properties, but you'll also see some of these dense residential buildings. Maybe they're hotels, maybe they're condos, apartments, townhomes. And we made some changes to Parcel Fair last year that would help you out in Florida. And I'll show you again, when you find something very dense like that, like this building, you'll see multiple units are available when we preview it. And so this means that multiple units in this building have liens available because they're all taxed separately because they're all different owners. So some of the owners paid and some of the owners are delinquent. And that's why you see a breakdown like this showing you each different unit. It's probably here too. Yeah, this one's got a ton of units available. And so as we're looking around, this is where these 29,000 liens are sort of hiding out. Some of them are in buildings like that, and some of them are going to be separate houses and separate rooftops as well. So I mean, you could really take a lot of time and go through an auction like this, learn the zip codes, learn the areas, and just break down what you want to buy. I mean, you can spread a lot of money around in an auction this size. And remember, they will have properties that don't sell the liens at the auction. So some of these we expect to see over the counter in about a month when the county releases those to buy post-auction. So that's probably enough for Palm Beach. Broward County. If you want to spend more time on it, by all means, this is a great way to do it. So moving on, let's take a look at Palm Beach County, which is sort of nearby. I think we're just one county north, it looks like. And let's go to map view so we can get some contrast here. So on the western side, we'll start. This is less populated area, it looks like. More just sort of your run-of-the-mill development. Not quite as dense as if we move over to the east side near the coast, where suddenly you have not only is it densely populated, but there are actually a lot of liens available in the auction. So, I mean, something like this, it just that just drives me nuts. Looking at the GIS drawing on that, it's so much detail. But let's look at this on the coast. I think if we're looking at that's an amazing size building there. And this one as well, like you're looking at just some of the wealthiest areas in Florida, in Palm Beach County, right here on the coast. And let's just take a peek. I mean, there's really not much difference when I look at it of something in a building like this versus something here, except that there's more units available. But when we're looking at properties here, I'd like to take a look at what's available. So we're going to pull up a report on one of these. Let's take a look. Let's open up this property. So we're looking at this parcel right here. We've got a building right here with a Google Street View, and we can see that the tax lien available is $5,600. So that's what what we'll be bidding on at the auction to get a lien on that and get the % interest rate. Let's take a look at this panorama view just so we can get a look at the building that it's in and the surrounding area. So it's a unit inside of this building, and we can see it's just a very nice area like most of the county. And going back, if we're looking at the upcoming auction is for Palm Beach County, it's going to be held on Real Auction. And clicking this purchase option button will take you through the steps to understand when and where the auction is, how much is due, how to register for the auction with that particular website, and the list to look at the properties. So that saves you a lot of time, and especially when you're going from county to county, to remember which auction house is carrying the properties and essentially running the show. So now that we've looked at that property, I had another one in Palm Beach I wanted to show you. This one was just odd. It's another unit, Unit 101 in this particular case, and it has a tax lien available for $67,000, but and I think it's so expensive because it looks like it's presidential something, so maybe it's presidential suite of that building. I don't know. It's worth $3.5 million, so it must be something nice. But the panorama view really cracked me up because instead of Google telling us a street view, somehow they have a panoramic view on the beach, like the sand view instead of the street view of the building. So we know this is the building that presidential whatever unit is in, but it's just kind of funny to see it from the perspective of the beach and the ocean here instead of from the street view like we normally get. But so this is again another report for another property in Palm Beach, and if we wanted, we could actually go to the appraiser or the tax collector and click directly to the property there to get more information. If I want to just read about the history, the walls, the square footage, it's just so much. It says it's a condominium with 4,700 square feet, and we can go look at a lot of detail if we want to, based on these links directly off of the report. So let's move on from Palm Beach. These counties are starting to kind of look alike. So let's go up to the Panhandle on the Gulf and take a look at Santa Rosa County. So It's a smaller county and it's a smaller auction with only 6,000 parcels, but they fill out the map quite a bit when you look at it this way. There's some agricultural, maybe rural inland areas where you can see the grid that looks like maybe farmland in that area. Some large parcels here at 42 acres, 87 acres, probably some timberland in the mix. And further we move south, of course, when you approach the coast, things become more town than city, than sort of a dense residential beach area. And we're looking at, just for relative scale, this is just next to Pensacola Beach. But it's the beachfront is actually Navarre Beach, and then the city of Navarre is right here on the inland coast. So this is much less developed, but we're still looking at a similar thing where there are multiple units available inside these developed buildings, or there's sort of the single lots back here where you could look at just one at a time. And one thing to really take note of here is, let's take a look at who's hosting the auction. So for this particular property, we're going to go to the purchase options, and we'll see this one is lienhub.com, not real auction. So it's a different auction house altogether, with a different registration page, a different page for the information on the tax sale, and a different auction list. But location, time, everything you need to bid on this property is right here for you to jump off and be able to do that. One other thing that changed in Parcel Fair this week that I want to show you, we talked about how you could view just one auction from the auction calendar. In the search filters, we actually added the same functionality here. So you've always been able to filter by over-the-counter versus auction. And of course, you could come over here and do like liens or deeds or foreclosures, whatever you choose. But now we actually show you the upcoming auctions to choose from. So you can say, if you wanted to look at just the deed auction on May 22nd, you could do that here. Or any of these foreclosure sales coming up in the next few weeks, you could look at just the properties in that one auction. And then you see at the bottom, we have this, the over-the-counter liens are the very bottom, but the lien auction right here is what we're looking at the moment, just this one single auction at a time. So again, it's you guys requested that. It was users really wanted that extra filter there, so we're excited to have it added to the site this week. So Rosa County, it's one of those mid-sized ones, and I think we've probably exhausted that one. So let's switch it up and take a look at some smaller counties, some smaller auctions. This is, let's see, I'm going to turn on my county borders again so I can see what we're talking about. Very small county. It's just one step inland here, but we're talking about Liberty County with only 326 parcels available. And so you can see that it's kind of different from your beachfront county. We're looking at some land here that's maybe undeveloped. Same thing here, undeveloped land. Not really seeing, here's a few houses actually, if we look at that. But a much different look and a much different feel just speaks to the diversity of Florida. If you go county to county, things just look a lot different depending on where you're looking. And let's see. While we're talking about smaller county auctions, let's take a look at one more. This one is Baker County. This one is, for relatively speaking, it's just west of Jacksonville area, and it's on the Georgia border. Pretty small county, 995 parcels in the auction this year. And like we looked at just a moment ago, some of these are more undeveloped acreage, and in certain areas you can get into little towns and cities that have something more residential. In this case, actually, I see a neighborhood here that's could be a great opportunity to buy some liens on undeveloped properties and basically play the bank with the developer. Remember, you're starting off at 18% in the auction, but the interest rate bids down. So you might get them at 18%, or you might get them at much less. One strategy is to wait until after the auction and see what is left over, and those properties will be available over the counter at the full 18%. Instead of having to bid at an auction, you get them uncontested directly from the county. So those opportunities do exist where you're just buying that. And let's just take a peek. These are probably pretty cheap. Yeah, this lien is $175. So it may not seem like much to type $175 at 18%, but if you do it 100 times, it adds up. So one other important thing to note, let's take a look at one more property here in Baker County. So this is just some acreage, 1 acre. We've been trying to show you who runs the different auctions. In Baker County, we're going to look at an entirely different auction website. This is taxsearchsale.com, and we have links to register, view the information, or check out the auction list there as well. So what I love about this is you can float between counties in the same state or even across other states, and you get this consistent experience where it's walking you through how to register for an auction, how to buy from the auction. And we try not to just drop you off and let you fend for yourself. We really want you to be able to register and bid and succeed in this. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I really get excited about the new auctions when they release, and just giving that first look before anybody's had a chance to dig in and research. I highly encourage you to try Parcel Fair, or if you already have Parcel Fair, to take a look at these auctions. It's just an incredible opportunity with so many properties every year, hundreds of thousands of properties going to auction, where you can buy high interest liens, and essentially it's just a solid investment if you learn how to do it the right way, and don't bid the interest down too low, and don't as long as you avoid properties as well that are unappealing. You want to make sure it's a property that's either going to redeem or be something that could sell it at a later date. So keep an eye out. There'll be more auctions showing up this week, and between now and the actual dates, you'll see some of these fill out and the properties will become available to view. So I again hope you enjoyed this, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.